Welcome, Mr. Lalo Samuel, Chairman and Managing Director of Kingston Investment Holding, Chairman of Industries Business Group under Sharjah Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Chairman of Indian Business and Professional Council. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Let's start by talking about your childhood.
Yeah.
You come from a family that was already working in the business industry, building streets, roads, and bridges. Did that by any way influence the way you viewed your future or you decided for your future?
See, coming from a business family, it doesn't need to influence you to do business. I've seen a lot of children who are from big business families who doesn't pursue their business career. However, when I was young, I developed an affinity for business. By looking at the way my family was involved in business. So that affinity has created or influenced what I should be in future or what I should do in future. Also, it has helped me to develop or link my business ambition to an industry which is linked to the development of countries or a nation.
Oh.
So my dad was involved in roads and bridges and buildings, where I went into manufacturing, which is related to construction industry.
As a child, what were your hobbies or things you were interested in?
I was involved in everything.
Tell us more.
So I was an athlete.
Oh.
I was a state athlete.
Which sport?
Running, sprint events and running, long race, track events. Then I was into martial arts. I was captain of national boxing team.
Wow.
From there, I learned martial arts in karate. Then I took third dan black belt. So it continued. So I was involved in every sport.
Yeah, so being disciplined in sport and being in national team, does it help or did it help you being disciplined in your business?
Yes, it definitely disciplines you in business. Also, it gives you the fighting spirit in business.
Mm-hmm.
You don't take obstacle or you don't take any obstacle as a problem for you. So you try to take obstacle as a challenge.
Okay, you jump over it. Great. Let me ask you about coming here to the UAE. You came in the early 1980s. Describe your feelings when you first landed here.
See, I come from India. Basically, if you look at India and the UAE, even in 1980s, 82, I landed here in 1982. There's a huge difference between India and UAE. So in terms of roads, road infrastructure, in terms of vehicles, in terms of buildings, communication, it was totally different. But I would say UAE was at a transformational stage in 1982. It may be 10 years after the United Arab Emirates was formed. 71 United Arab Emirates was formed. So 82, it's about almost 11 years. So it was at a transformational stage of development at that period.
One thing that grabbed your attention?
Infrastructure.
Oh, okay. So still with the businessman mentality. Yeah. Okay. Talking about Arabian Gulf and the Arabian Peninsula and India, it's a long historical tie between both areas. Like I was digging up and I noticed that the historical documentation of first contact between Indus Valley civilization and Dalman civilization, which is currently Bahrain, it's documented to 5,000 years of connection and ties. Yeah. So, and still it's going, even in the modern era, it's the communication, relationship, cultural, social connection and exchange. It's been there. How would you describe that? And how does this cultural relationship creates a good atmosphere for business?
See, if you want me to describe relation between India and the UAE, it goes back centuries.
Yes.
Like if you see ancient times, you can describe it into ancient times, medieval times, colonial times, True. And the modern development.
True.
So if you goes back to the ancient times, you developed from India and UAE developed maritime trade. So Gulf was a preferred route for Indian traders to get their products to Europe. So that went on during the first period. But still, the relation between the Indian traders and the Middle East traders persisted.
Yes.
So then became the colonial times where the British rule. During the British rule, British made this a preferred route for getting the Indian products like textiles, precious stones, spices
Spices, of course.
into Europe and other countries. So they secured this as a preferred route for this trade. So then from there, after the colonial era, you could see it developed into modern trade. Today, the relation between India and UAE is at its peak. Bilateral trade amounting to almost 83 billion annually. So India is one of the most preferred trading partner for UAE. So it's also further developing. So then you have the diaspora growth, which is you have last week I was at the consulate. They said the Indian community has grown to 4.1 million from 3.6 million. The new consul general has taken over. So when he took over, it was 3.6 million and it has jumped to 4.1 million now. So the diaspora growth and the community engagements and the trade as a central pillar between India and UAE. Further, it has gone into strategic investments, defense cooperation, food and energy security. So it's developing much more further with investments, UAE investing in Indian infrastructure, Indian businesses, vice versa. So I would say I was told that they signed CEPA agreement, which is Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, 870 pages document in 87 days, which was a record-breaking time between the governments. So with CEPA, we had a seminar here a few days back. With CEPA, you can export any product which is manufactured in UAE into India or Indian-made products into UAE without any customs regulations or without any customs duty. So it's considered as one country.
Okay. That's great, I think, and healthy for the economy. Let me go back when you mentioned spices.
Yeah.
And definitely, knowing the area, India was the main source of spices for the whole world. Spice trade was very well known. When you came here and you tried our food, did you notice the influence of that trade spice? Did you see any similarities between the Emirati cuisine and the Indian cuisine?
Of course, like a lot of similarities between the food, what is prepared here, and the food what is prepared in India, especially if you say biryani.
Of course.
It is common to both countries. See, when I go to UK or any US and try Indian spices, the taste is totally different.
True, I agree.
For UAE, you get fresh products from India. There are products which are coming every day to UAE daily. So that means fresh is available in UAE. So between fresh and frozen makes a lot of difference.
True, I agree. Any favorite dish?
All Arabic dishes.
Okay. Let's talk about your leadership philosophy. In few words, how would you describe your philosophy and did it change?
I would say I would describe my leadership philosophy as visionary and pragmatic.
Okay.
So it changes over the period of time depending on responsibilities and priorities. So I uphold high ethical practices and integrity and honesty. This is something which I learned from my family business to do ethical business. So initially my priorities were to achieve targets, identify businesses, develop processes, and then conclude business deals. As the responsibilities grew, it transformed into more strategic leadership, where you concentrate on building teams, delegation of authorities, identifying KPIs, delegating KPIs, reviewing responsibilities, empowering people.
Let me ask you about the infrastructure. Since you came here in the 80s and you've witnessed the whole development, how do you see the infrastructure here in Sharjah and its development, with all also the digitalization of the services, and how it's beneficial for the businessmen and businesswomen?
See, if you look at the infrastructure, as I said, in 1982 when I came here, it was at a transformational stage. But the development of UAE has been phenomenal from 1982 to 2024, if you look at it.
Yeah.
Thanks to the visionary leaders of UAE, UAE has created something which is impossible for others. I would say impossible for others. That is because of the visionary leadership. So if you see UAE, today UAE has got 9 airports handling 134 million passengers annually. It has got 12 commercial ports in UAE. If you look at hotels, it has got 625 hotels with 213,000 rooms. This is UAE. So if you look at Sharjah, Sharjah has played a very pivotal role in the development of UAE. So Sharjah has made its mark slowly in the development of UAE. Sharjah has evolved as a center for economic activity, culture, education,
True.
research and development, and preserving heritage. So if you look at Sharjah, Sharjah has got 6 free zones, 1 airport. I looked at the latest statistics. Airport handled 13 million passengers last year. Education, startup development, research and development. These are all amazing things Sharjah has achieved while contributing to the development of UAE.
Talking about free zones, how relevant can free zones be today in this innovative world, knowing that we're very open? Openness is something happening in the world, globalization, technological advancement. Free zone, where are they in making economy more attractive, contributing to economic growth as well?
See, UAE has got 46 free zones. Sharjah has got 6 free zones. The free zones are definitely and extremely important for global trade. Free zones attracts foreign investments into the country. 100% ownership, tax-free transactions, repatriation of profits. Also, it supports global trade. Like most of the free zones here are closer to the ports and airports. So seamless movement of cargo, like anyone wants to access to the market. We say UAE can access 2/3 of the world population in 4.5 hours. So anyone who wants to access the global market, free zone is definitely a hub for global trade. And also it is a magnet for foreign investments.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you maybe a personal question.
Sure.
For someone who has a lot to do, business, family, travel, etc., give us a glimpse of your daily routine that helps you manage your time effectively.
Sure. As a leader with multiple roles, I focus on time management.
Is it easy?
You have to manage.
Okay.
You have to. So I am an early riser. I wake up sometimes 4:30 in the morning.
Early.
I use that quiet time to reflect on my day's schedule. As soon as I wake up, I just finish my basic needs, and then I utilize some time for prayer. After the prayer, I reflect on my daily schedules and then plan my day in the morning itself, using that quiet time. After that, I use a little bit of time for my health and physical development. So I do a little bit of exercise. Then I get ready to go to the office. on the way to the office, most of the days, I listen to Dubai Eye breakfast show. Like, you get a lot of informations. Times at home, I listen to BBC, CNN to get info, to be informed about what's happening in the world, to understand the geopolitical scenes. So once I reach the office, I review my schedule for the day, and then I have team meetings.
Okay.
Then review KPIs of teams, delegated responsibilities, whether it is completed or not. Without fail, I visit my manufacturing division every day because that's a passion for me. I mean,
Okay. Every day.
Yeah, every day I visit my manufacturing plant. Then I dedicate some time for deep focus, like, where you need deeper attention. Evening, I do some networking, like, with some customers, incoming customers, distributors. We deal with most of the regions here, GCC, Africa. So most of the days, sometimes we have some customers, so meet them. Otherwise, local distributors, we spend some time with them networking. Then you wrap up.
Okay. If you allow me one more last question.
Sure, you can ask.
About where does the family here, as a father, tell us.
After the wrap up, I come home. I make sure that I spend some quality time with my family.
Okay.
That is, I feel that is absolutely essential to balance your work life and family harmony. So I spend some quality time with my family. If the children are here with them, otherwise my wife.
Great.
And as I said, that's very important to keep the work-life harmony.
Great. I'm very happy, Mr. Lalo Samuel, with this conversation. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.